We are back. Peanut Gallery, I'm leaving it up to you.
So, do you remember when TNA was doing their fan poll about like what cities they should do pay-per-views in next year? So
yes.
The results are out. They said that's mixed, quote unquote. I don't know what that means, but they are running. They're running 2 shows in New York City and in Los Angeles next year, pay-per-views. Rebellion is going to be in Los Angeles. I don't know exactly the name of the arena. It's not one of the big ones, but I know that New York City, they're running at UBS Arena, which is one of their bigger shows.
Right. Well,
so, and that's going to be Slammiversary. So they're running their biggest, one of their biggest shows of the year in one of their biggest stadiums yet.
Right.
Because that also was a venue for WWE and AEW. So they're running some pretty big shows next year.
Yep, and I think they're doing another really like a fairly strong one here coming up. I think for the next pay-per-view. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but what I heard is that the response to this poll was so overwhelmingly positive for both. They just decided to do both.
Yes.
That's what I heard.
Okay. That's kind of, yeah. Okay. Anyways, what do we all think about AJ Francis going for the world championship?
I've been saying this since he debuted in TNA and really started to come into his own. But AJ Francis is one of my favorites on the indies right now. He's really put himself in a great spot. He's doing the best work I've ever seen him do. He's the biggest heat magnet pretty much right now in TNA. Yeah. I love this. Don't sleep on AJ Francis, people.
No.
I know he had that little reputation with Top Dollar and everything, but he really
he kind of left the flop behind.
He really did. I've been loving his work. He's been doing a lot better. I'm loving his heel work. It's just been phenomenal stuff. So I'm thrilled to bits about this.
I just thought, interesting kind of, again, TNA is where people go to not die. It's where they go to rebirth themselves.
Exactly. Ash by Elegance is doing the same thing. I mean, she didn't win the Knockouts World, but she'll be there for a while. She probably will at some point. But now she's with the Knockouts tag. Well, she's not the champion yet, but she's with Heather by Elegance.
Yes.
You have Nick Nemeth, who left WWE and now is doing his stuff as Nick Nemeth for the first time in 10 to 11 years, something like that.
So
I love this. I love this choice. Also, it's not a pay-per-view. This is one of their weird Impact Plus specials. Right. So it's fine.
Yeah.
So people need to chill out about that.
Have Lunchable. So someone needs to put a leash on this guy. I swear to God, someone needs to put a leash on this man. He cannot shut up about how great AEW is,
or how great he is,
or how great he is.
It's small dick syndrome,
right? Or about how he was the reason that AEW exists. Buddy, AEW existed before you came. In case you didn't notice.
He said it was his influence.
Oh, whatever.
Whatever.
Your influence for what? Circus matches? I mean, Tony Khan, he's not going to do anything as we have figured out with the whole Ryan Nemeth situation, but someone needs to put a gag in him. Honestly, it kind of sickens me.
Yeah, he has quickly just destroyed his reputation entirely. I don't take anything he says seriously at this point. Samantha Irvin, at the very least, knew when to shut her dumb ass up.
Right.
But Ricochet continues to be an idiot, and you know what? I love it. I didn't even bring it up because I saw the picture. I'm like, why do I have to say anything?
Right.
Why do I have to put in my
I don't know where he's doing his interviews with or what he's saying. All I'm seeing is what he's been tweeting about or what other people have been saying about him, and it's just come on, just shut up about yourself and how great you think you are, about how you think you can carry any company. All you do is circus acts.
He's puffing up his chest when he has not been able to back it up whatsoever. The ratings are not reflecting this decision. It's just not. He is a talented competitor. He has
nothing beyond his flippy shit.
Well, it's now
it's week in and week out. It happens all the fucking time.
And that's the problem.
Right.
WWE managed to pull it back a little bit. So when he did the flippy shit, it felt special.
Right.
His stuff with Logan Paul, it felt special. But you're right.
He's just throwing it all away.
It's the same. It's literally the same sequence of moves over and over again. And it's like, okay, we need to have them.
So I'm gonna call it the 5 flips of doom, I guess. Right as well, right?
God,
it's all the same shit.
It is. It's
John
silly.
Cena 2.0. Well, not John Cena.
Well,
2.0,
John Cena's humble.
But John Cena's 5 moves of doom 2.0.
But John Cena's humble and like a good person. Ricochet is not either of those.
No, and he's also, and again, talented.
Right.
Not talented in terms of Ricochet, but well, I mean, we did talk about this a little bit, but finally, Rey Fenix is a free agent. Pentagon, not free. We talked about how Rey Fenix is a prisoner, but Pentagon Jr. is no longer a prisoner.
Yep, he's off of the roster list. He's going to be doing stuff in AAA. You know he's not signed with AEW if he's doing stuff with AAA.
No, and he is WWE bound. I mean, this is pretty much a certainty, but I think that WWE wants both Lucha Brothers to be available at the same time.
And I think him doing this stuff in AAA is a really good decision right now.
And you don't know, there might be other issues that like visa issues or whatever.
Well, this is a perfect time to get all of that together,
put all in order, and kind of see what happens, because they're probably going straight to the main roster. They are not going to be NXT people. So I think they are waiting for Rey Fenix to finally be released from his prison.
Yep, exactly.
So we did talk about this a little bit, but Tony Khan responding to Eric Bischoff.
He clearly does care.
He says that he doesn't care what Eric Bischoff says, but he clearly does.
He clearly does. There's no way he doesn't.
And it's ridiculous. And he is very optimistic about also the sales numbers for All In Texas have come out this week, and they've only sold like 1,000 tickets or something.
Oh shit!
Or
really?
something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
When is All In?
It's next summer, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And he's trying to sell out a stadium show, and it's not going to happen.
Well, it is a baseball stadium.
It's still a stadium show.
The setup is like barely 20,000,
but they have not sold that many.
Now they have plenty of time. I'm not gonna fault them on that.
Yeah, there is plenty of time, and he is very optimistic about it. But there comes a point in time when you're just way too optimistic.
To be honest with you, I looked at the ticket prices; they ain't that bad.
Right? I know. I don't want to go see an AEW show.
I mean, if it was here, maybe.
No.
Really?
I'd rather stay home.
It'd be like $1,000.
I have better things to do.
You can sacrifice a night.
No, I can't. It's not an AEW night. So this segment was viewed, I think, by over 1 million people. Like I think it was 1 point.
It was almost 2 million.
Yeah,
people.
It was almost 2 million people. This was one of the highest rated segments all year for Raw.
Not surprised.
And I feel bad for the segment that had to follow this. This should have been the main event segment, but yeah.
I recorded this show, and I cannot honestly for the life of me remember. I watch so much wrestling, people don't at me.
This was I think this was at the top of the second hour.
Yes.
And again, I feel bad for whoever had to follow this, because it was
the whole show was really
very
good.
It was very emotional. Like a lot of people had a lot of emotion behind it, but keep in mind, New Day's been around for over 10 years.
It was so good. I think it needed to happen. It's a breath of fresh air.
Yep.
This is going to be the first time we're going to see, I think, either Xavier and Kofi as heels.
Yeah,
like
I
as
think
full
so.
Heels. What they're going to be, they got to follow up with something strong here. Maybe something better than how they've been doing with the Wyatt Six, because Wyatt Six has been out for like 3 weeks. I have no idea why. But this is interesting. I'm curious to see what we do here with the with Kofi and Xavier. I mean, I'm not even sure if they're going to be called the New Day anymore.
Who knows?
But this was fantastic.
It was.
Did you watch it?
I did. Yes.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
And also, I watched it 3 times. The first time was just for the emotion and how they did. The second time was I kind of wanted to know, like, justifiably why they're turning on E. And in a way, I can get it.
Well, it makes sense because we don't know Big E's actual in-ring status. And I know that we had discussed this earlier, but I think that Big E is going to go on to manage a team that will be a principal enemy of the New Day, the new Day.
But what I'm saying is, as not just Big E as a competitor, they did bring up where were you all this time?
Mhm.
You didn't need surgery. You could have done something with us while we were going through our problems,
Mhm.
and now all of a sudden you show up. I loved it because it made sense.
Yep,
it made sense story-wise.
Yeah, it did.
That's what I loved about it.
Right.
It's like I can see where they're coming from.
Yeah, and it was just again, there's a lot of emotion because this team has been around for so long. Like people grew. I think there are people. Well, okay, there are people that grew up with this team.
Yep, there are.
Yeah,
it was a great team.
So Saturday night's main event is doing a second show, and I think that what they're going to do is make it a quarterly event, from my understanding.
Okay.
I don't know the details of the contract with NBC, but they are planning on doing these Saturday night's main events multiple times throughout the year.
Cool.
And I don't know if they're going to be canon shows or not. We are going to be watching it. We will not be reviewing it immediately because Mothership is in town on Sunday. But we'll be watching it, the first one, on Saturday. And yeah, they're just going to be doing this I think it's a multi-show contract. I don't know how many times a year they're doing it, but there is a deal signed with NBC to do it multiple times a year.
Cool.
Yeah. Vince McMahon's scandals with the Ring Boys have been the judge ordered to stay. So essentially, like, nothing is going to happen.
So as of right, so there were a couple of big wins about the McMahon. So the they wanted to move.
If you're an anti-McMahon, you're probably L's, but
right. Well, I mean, W's for the McMahon team.
Yes.
So the Ring Boy scandal lawsuit was not only paused, but they actually are. They try to move the where the court is being held to a state where the statute of limitations doesn't exist. Or,
they tried to move
doesn't extend, but it's actually going to be staying, I think, in Connecticut, where there is a statute of limitations for all crimes. So once again, that's another big that is a big L for McMahon regarding this, because if it goes to court and the judge throws it out, they can't relitigate it.
So there's a lot going on. Obviously, this is probably going to be a factor in the Senate hearings when Linda McMahon goes through her process of becoming Secretary of Education. This is clearly going to come up as an issue.
Oh yeah.
So this is not going to be the end of us hearing about it.
Oh God, no. Linda is definitely going to have
a fight on her hands.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Because I think she is named as one of the defendants in the Ring Boy scandal.
She is.
She's not one in the Janelle Grant.
No,
she is one in the Ring Boy.
Yeah, and I haven't heard any information or any updates on the Janelle Grant
situation. It's still paused.
Right.
To my knowledge, it is still paused, but that was Janelle Grant's team's claim, where they were the ones who paused it. So as of right now, McMahon's teams are breathing some air right now because of the Ring Boy. Because if they can get that one thrown out, then they can focus on the Janelle Grant one. Because right now, that's like two of them simultaneously. And then also that now he wants to do a media company. It's like,
I don't know what's going on.
This guy's like, he's literally just work personified as a person. It's crazy.
Pretty much. There are special start times for the Royal Rumble. And
you could have chosen a better picture.
Yeah, I know. Well, anyways, WWE is doing this experiment where they are experimenting with earlier start times for pay-per-views.
I like it.
And this also coincides with the decision to have Netflix do their episodes live regardless of where they're at in the world. So, like, for example, in March, when they're going to Europe, the show will come out on Netflix live, no matter what time zone it is, and then you can just watch the instant replay. So Americans, for example, will be able to get access to Raw in the early afternoon when it's about 6-7 o'clock at night over in, like in London or Brussels or whatever. So, yeah,
that could be really good for me.
They're doing experimentations with earlier start times, like what they have been doing with overseas, and starting those early, because obviously it's nighttime over there, but it's not nighttime over here. They're doing the exact same thing with Raw now.
I see. All right. I mean, I've liked
That's
it.
all I've got.
No, it's not. You have like 2 more. What are you talking about?
Oh, that's right. I do have 2 more. So
notes, Peanut Gallery notes.
I know. WWE's new show is Future and
it's Legends and Future Legends.
Yes, Legends and Future
Legends.
It's
Legends and Future Legends.
That's really annoying. It's
an A&E show.
It is an A&E show.
I have no idea what the premise is though.
I don't know. It's some sort of reality competition.
Oh, it is? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it is. These are the hosts of the show.
Bully Ray, Mark Calloway, Booker T, and Mickey James.
Yes, and all I can think about is let's fucking go, because it's LFG.
Right.
Fuck!
And finally,
this is when I'm going to be done.
Peanut Gallery needs notes.
More injuries from the War Games match.
So there were 3 injuries that I'm aware of. It was Tonga Loa, who tore his bicep, so he's going to be out for a while. Bronson Reed's foot, essentially disintegrated, and he's out indefinitely.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jimmy Uso broke his toe, and he's out indefinitely.
Well, I guess they just tore each other apart. At least the 2 main characters in the story weren't injured.
So we need to not do the jumping off of the top of the cage anymore. It's clearly not safe. Because literally, Bronson Reed and Jimmy Uso hurt themselves when they jumped off the top of the cage.
Yeah,
That's what happened. So let's not do that anymore.
Well, I think they're going to continue to do that. But War Games only comes around once a year.
That's
so. Oh, hey, now I'm done.
Yeah, so when we come back, we're going to talk about the good and the bad of NXT Deadline.
And possibly the ugly.
Yes.